This is the Family Playbook, the show about your role in the family at every age. Your hosts are Robbie and Terry, both 15 every week. They figure out what is fair and what is expected as you grow up.
Welcome back to the Family Playbook, the show about your role in the family at every age. I'm Terry.
And I'm Robbie, and today we're asking the question every teenager has screamed into a pillow at least once. When do parents actually stop being the boss?
Spoiler alert, it's complicated, like legally, emotionally, and in that weird gray zone where you're 18 but still eating their food.
Let's start with the law, because the law loves a clean answer. In most of the United States, legal adulthood hits at 18.
At 18, you can vote, sign contracts, join the military. Basically, the government says, you're a person now, good luck.
But here's a fun wrinkle. In about 30 U.S. states, parents can still be held financially responsible for a child's actions past 18 in certain situations.
So the law hands you a diploma in adulthood, but occasionally takes it back. Classic.
And then there's the brain science, which is honestly the most inconvenient part of this whole conversation.
The human prefrontal cortex, that's the decision-making, impulse control part of your brain, isn't fully developed until around age 25.
25. That means when your parents say you don't think things through, neuroscience is kind of on their side.
I did not come here to be agreed with by neuroscience, Robbie.
None of us did, Terry. None of us did.
So biologically, the boss transition is really a slow fade, not a dramatic handoff at midnight on your 18th birthday.
Think of it less like a light switch and more like a dimmer. They're turning down the dial a little every year.
And research backs this up. A study from the University of Virginia found that parent-teen conflict actually peaks around age 13 and then gradually drops.
So the peak chaos is right now roughly for us. That's deeply unsettling information.
On the bright side, it gets better. The same research showed that by late teens, most families renegotiate the rules more collaboratively.
Collaboratively, meaning you get to have an actual conversation instead of just being handed a verdict.
But here's the cultural angle, because this whole 18 equals independence thing is not universal at all.
In many cultures across Southern Europe, Latin America, and East Asia, adult children living with parents into their late 20s or even 30s is completely normal and respected.
It's not failure to launch, it's a totally different model of what family interdependence is supposed to look like.
In Italy, for example, surveys show over 60% of adults aged 18 to 34 still live with their parents, and nobody thinks that's weird.
Meanwhile, in the US, there's this strong cultural script that says independence means moving out, which adds a lot of pressure that other countries just don't feel.
So the boss question is partly a geography question. Where you grow up shapes what growing up even means.
Okay, but let's get personal for a second. What does the actual power shift feel like day to day?
Psychologists describe it as a process called individuation. You're forming your own identity, which requires some friction with the people who defined your identity for you.
So the arguments about curfew or your friend group or your music taste, those aren't just annoying, they're developmentally necessary.
Your parents being the boss is partly how you figure out who you are when someone's pushing back.
And the healthy version of this, experts say, is parents gradually shifting from authority figures to consultants.
A consultant. Your mom goes from, you will do this, to, here's what I'd consider. Same wisdom, totally different power dynamic.
That shift usually starts happening in mid to late adolescence, somewhere between 15 and 19, depending on the family.
Which means some of our listeners might already be in the middle of that transition right now and not even realize it.
The conversations start going differently. They ask your opinion, they explain their reasoning instead of just saying because I said so.
And honestly, that's kind of the tell. When a parent starts treating you like someone worth convincing, the boss dynamic is already loosening.
Of course, some parents hand over control faster than others, and some kids are ready sooner than others. It's not one size fits all.
And money is a huge factor. Financial dependence is basically an extension of the boss relationship, whatever your age.
Which is why a lot of researchers say true independence isn't really about turning 18. It's about the moment you're economically self sufficient.
So the honest answer to when do parents stop being the boss might just be gradually, unevenly, and later than the birthday cake suggests,
But the direction is always toward partnership. That's the goal, not escaping your parents, but eventually becoming their equal.
which, when you think about it, is actually kind of a beautiful long game.
It is, and in the meantime, maybe cut them a little slack. They're navigating this transition too without a rule book.
There's no parenting manual for how to stop being in charge of someone you've been in charge of for 18 years. That has to be strange.
Really strange. So the boss fades, the partnership builds, and somewhere in the middle is all of us, just figuring it out together.
That's the family playbook for today. Thanks for thinking through the big stuff with us, and see you next week on the Family Playbook.